Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who was a cynic. Hope you're doing well. Today we got some breaking news. So this was at 4 p.m. Earlier today, or rather, actually no, this would have been Eastern Standard Time. So literally about 20 minutes ago, this came from the Mary Sue, which of course you know is going to have a very specific, unbiased spin on this story. But Marvel has fired Star Wars author Chuck Wendig. I mean, that's already off. It's not Marvel. It would be under Lucasfilm or under Disney. I don't know why you would associate him with Marvel, but I mean, what do I know about it? But man, this is great news. And I want to start off by saying I do not take joy in anyone losing their job, but when you act like Chuck Wendig did, when you are so unhinged as a person, where you obviously, and I mean this with all seriousness, I think Chuck Wendig has something actually wrong with him, and I hope and pray that he gets the help that I really do believe that he needs, and I honestly think that at this point now he might actually have the time to do so. I doubt he will. I doubt he will actually try and reach out and do anything, especially since he's going to have so many people, thousands of morons saying, oh no, you were fine, you were wrongfully terminated, and all this stupid nonsense. This guy is toxic. If you want to talk about actual toxic people, you always hear about toxic fandom, toxic Star Wars fan base, blah, 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 white man babies. Yeah, that's right. The same people who call other people toxic are the ones that usually have the most severe attacks against any person. And not even for any good reasons except for the fact, oh, you're white, I have to hate you. Oh, you're cisgender. Oh, I have to hate you. Oh, you're a male, I must hate you. That is pretty much the mindset behind all of this just total nonsensical SJW arguments that are just total and utter garbage. So this is awesome. Chuck Wendig should not have been hired. Like, seriously, people can defend his writing till you're blue in the face, but if I was the head of a company and I had someone on staff who was saying the things that this guy was saying, who was so unhinged like this guy is, you know what? I'm sorry, but I would fire him, especially since this is a guy that is attached to the Disney universe. This is a guy, again, who writes Star Wars novels, so therefore is directly tied to the Disney universe, and you do not want someone like this representing your company. It goes back to the James Gunn situation. Now, obviously, very different. However, I would say that it's even more damning for this guy only because this is the guy that has made these comments and continues to make these comments just over the past couple of days. This isn't just 10 years ago, like in the case of James Gunn. This instead is still happening, and this guy still doesn't get it in his response. But anyway, Chuck Wendig is fired for not being civil, and we're furious. No, Kate Gardner. Let me preface this piece by saying I am not an unbiased source when it comes to my feelings on Chuck Wendig and his politics. Yeah, and probably his ability to block any person that even questions him. Not just, blocking just jackasses, but literally blocking people who ask him a question. Blocking people who just challenge him a little bit and want a little bit more than just the F-bombs and just the non-stop, never-ending tirades. Just anyone that even questions that, I'm going to block you, I'm going to block you, I'm going to block you. Yeah, I bet you're supportive of that too, because you're just like him. Oh my goodness, no, this guy on YouTube is attacking me. Oh my goodness, I have to go back to my safe space. This is an attack. Just, again, grow up. No better words have been said at least in the United States recently, except for, again, I keep going back to, I've mentioned in several videos, but there was a senator in our country who at one point was being shrieked at by protesters in the most obnoxious way possible, something that was not conducive to dialogue, something that was not conducive to actually bring about change, and the guy's response was, grow up. And I think that phrase, grow up, is the very essence of any argument that is being brought against these SJWs. They do not grow up. They do not know how to grow up. They act like children. They say, oh no, he hurt my feelings. Oh no, they hurt my feelings. And they want to hide away. They want to hide away from the world in their safe space where they're surrounded by people who think just like them. And that's what they want. That's what they care about. And it's bad. It is bad for them. And it's also bad for our culture, because when you have these people who get positions of power, not only in Hollywood, but also in politics, guess what? It breeds more and more and more of this stupid, nonsensical, oh my goodness. Anyway, with his Aftermath series and with the character of Sanjir, I felt seen for the first time by a franchise that categorically denied my existence as a queer person. Of course, there it is. Wendig's books are fantastic. His presence on Twitter is charming. Charming? That is a word that I don't think anyone in their right mind, which you obviously aren't, would ever use to talk about Chuck Wendig. Charming? You think this guy is charming? Have you read his tirades lately? This is a disgusting guy who obviously has something wrong with him. This is a guy who is literally unhinged. You want to talk about mob mentality? Because we've had mobs lately in this country. You want to talk about a mob mentality? Look no further than people like Chuck Wendig, and obviously you're a part of that group as well. Dear Lord. Man, and I'll never look at heirloom apples without laughing. Furthermore, I view him as an ally in the ongoing fight, not only for representation in media, but in terms of actual real-life politics. Oh, yes, representation in media. Instead of actually just going out and doing something. Oh, no, we gotta write this article. I gotta put a tweet out. The injustice is so real. Just do something. Seriously, just go out and make it happen. You can make it happen. If you put your mind to it, you can. The problem is that when you try and force other people to accept whatever it is that you're pushing, when you are the one that's trying to force other people to do something, yeah, good luck with that. That's not going to happen. But if you want to go out and write a story, boom, no one's stopping you. If you want to go out and be a film critic, boom, no one's stopping you. No one is stopping you. You are literally writing for themarysue.com. I think that it's a garbage tier website, but guess what? People read it. There are some people out there that come to the site and say, oh my goodness, this has everything that's true and real, and oh my goodness. And that can be you. That can be you. But at the end of the day, just stop. Just stop with this nonsense. So imagine my shock and horror when I refreshed Twitter today to see him announce that he had been fired by Marvel off of their Star Wars titles. Again, Marvel, Star Wars, Mary Sue, get your facts straight. Because of him being vocal and political on Twitter. No, it's because he was being an ass on Twitter, and it was because he was being totally unhinged on Twitter to the point where there's probably something wrong with him. But we don't want to talk about that, do you? In a lengthy and informative Twitter thread, Wendig detailed his ongoing relationship with Lucasfilm and Marvel, starting with the Aftermath trilogy. It's worth noting that he has been receiving serious and targeted harassment since 2015, and the big reveal that the book contained 3 queer characters. Oh yes, let's talk. Oh man, it was all the hate. Oh my goodness, it was all just it was all the white cisgender males who were attacking him because he had queer characters, guys. He had queer characters, and that's the reason why he was being attacked. Or maybe it's because he's been harassed because he has gone out and attacked people. A general group of people. He has called anyone that disagrees with him. He would call someone like me a homophobic person. Not true. He would call me a racist. Not true. He would call me a sexist. Not true. He would call me any types of things and put me all into the same group. And it's just not true. Just like this person right here. It's not true. Stop lying to people. And anyone that buys this nonsense needs to seriously wake up. But let's just, enough of this nonsense. Let's get to actual Chuck Wendig. Today I got the call on fire because of the negativity and vulgarity that my tweets bring. Seriously. That's what Mark, the editor, said. It was too much politics, too much vulgarity, too much negativity on my part. Basically because I was not civil. No. It's because you were an ass. It was because you were a giant asshat, and not just recently, but over your history. It was only because of your tweets recently, though, that you got so much attention that finally they realized, oh, this guy is toxic to our brand. Again, you want to talk about toxic? Fans are not toxic. Again, that small 1% of people on Twitter. I mean, when you go back to those studies that were done, the studies about how toxic Star Wars was, it was like 1%, 2%. It's like a very small group, very, very small group of people. But Chuck Wendig, you are in that toxic group. If you want to talk about actual toxicity, you are part of that. You are the ones who, you're part of the group that is saying, don't be civil. You're part of the group saying, don't engage in dialogue. You're the kind of person who would say, no, get in that person's face and yell in their face and, oh my goodness, do all these crazy things. I'm sorry, but that does nothing to forward your cause. You think that it helps? It does not help you. It makes you look crazy. It makes you look unhinged. And guess what? People don't like that. Why do you think we have seen in our own country a huge political shift just over the last month alone? Because on one side, we've got a giant mob-like mentality, getting in people's face, yelling things, acting hysterical, screaming during confirmation hearings, screaming during every little thing, just screeching about every tiny little thing. And on the other side, you have, hey, there's innocent until proven guilty. Let's just think about this logically and reason for a second. Calm? Crazy. Why do you think people are now shifting over to the calm side? And I'm not trying to say that both sides, or that the side I'm talking about, is perfect. I'm not trying to say that at all. But you can understand why there are people that would run away from this side. I mean, why do you think we have the walk away campaign? The walk away campaign has been gigantic. So many people who've been leaving the SJW hyper liberal side because they've realized that, hey, I can still have these modern day liberal platforms, socially liberal, fiscally liberal ideas, but I cannot be a part of this crazy mob mentality anymore. So many people are being driven away, and even more people are being driven away today because, especially of people like Chuck Wendig, because it has nothing to do with him just not being civil. It's because he was being unhinged. Chuck Wendig says, and I was worried, of course, because I thought I had screwed up. I wondered for a time if the book was bad, but then it hit list and stayed on list for 4 weeks, and the next 2 books hit list too, and Empire's End landed even higher on the list than the first book. And privately, I was told by folks inside Lucasfilm that there was no worry here, that they valued that I spoke out, both speaking up for myself and for Star Wars, which has always honestly been a progressive brand and company. Oh, there it is. No, Star Wars has never been crazy SJW liberal brand. Has never been that. That is what modern day progressivism is. So you do not represent what Star Wars has been and hopefully will be again. You represent the fringe. You talk about me being fringe. You talk about, the Phantom Menace being fringe. No, you are the one who is a member of the fringe, the fringe side of things. Again, there's fringes on both sides because both sides have crazies. You just happen to be one of the crazies on the left. Let's just be honest for a second. Let's actually just be straightforward for a second. Oh, and here it is right here. This is journalism right here. This is complete and utter BS. This is complete and utter BS. This is not a situation like James Gunn or someone who gets pulled off a project because they spew bigotry and hate. Really? Tell me how his comments were not hateful. Please explain to me how the things he said were not hateful. Is it just because he wasn't on one side? If he had said in the same tone, with the same words, something about someone on the left, you would have been up in arms saying this man is a racist, a sexist, etc., only because he disagrees with you politically, because he disagrees with you philosophically. This is where we find the huge divide. One side of things, for the most part, is very open to ideas, open to discussion. The other side, if you have even just a small sign that you might disagree with the plan, you might disagree with the entire world order, oh no, you can't be a part of our group anymore, oh no, you're a racist, you're a sexist. That is what's going on here. That is what's going on. So you try and bring up James Gunn into this discussion, this guy is doing these things now, is saying these things now. And for you to try and say this is the man being fired for not taking BS from a horde of trolls, no, it's because he was an ass. It was because he was a giant ass. Period. End stop. He was a giant ass. I can't say it too much. I really can't. Chuck says, and it seems odd to be mad that I'm mad about politics when you look around. Climate change. Oh, climate change. Oh my goodness. Oh, the world's ending. Again, I'm not denying climate change, but come on, seriously, the alarmism is what's ridiculous. Climate change, we can have a conversation. We can have a civil discourse about climate change and what to do about it. For people like you to come out and say, oh my God, the world's going to end in 10 years, and then 10 years later, oh my God, the world's going to end in 10 years, and then 10 years later, oh my God, the world's going to end in 10 years. It's over. Seriously, stop with the alarmism. You're the problem. Kids in cages. The kids have been in cages since Obama. Where were you during that time? Where were you doing that time? I'm not saying that we shouldn't do something about it because we really should. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen in this country. But seriously, where were you back in 2016 before Trump got elected? Sexual harassers at the topmost tiers of power. Really? Really? Is this a reference to Judge Kavanaugh? Really? Sexual harassers? Really? Where's the proof? Oh, well, I believe her. Okay, you can believe her all you want, but guess what? She has no proof. She has no corroborative evidence. And I'm sorry I'm getting a little political here, but this is a guy who, to me, represents everything that is wrong with the hard left SJW progressives today. He represents everything wrong with it because he thinks he is right. He is now, look how civil he's being now, too. Notice how he's not cursing. Notice how his tone has shifted because now he's trying to act like, oh, well, I was totally innocent in all this. But go back. There's screenshots if you decide to delete them, but go back and read some of the tweets he was saying. They were really vicious. They were really very disgusting. A call for civility as the Pennsylvania governor candidate threatens Tom Wolfe with a golf cleat stomping. I don't know, man. Again, calling for civility is a good thing. That is what we should be doing. We should be dialoguing with each other. I can't dialogue with you, Chuck, because you are just screaming. And if I ever try to talk to you, just be like, and no one can talk with that. I know it's Hans Comics Gate a big win. It will embolden them, but they won. I'm out of Marvel, and I guess for now, at least out of any kind of Star Wars. Do your victory lap, I guess. Just leave me out of it. No, we're not going to leave you out of it because you're the one that's been attacking us nonstop. Seriously, we're going to savor this moment. And again, I do not take joy in someone losing their job. But when someone like you, Chuck Wendig, when someone like you who will just block people who disagree with you, who will go off on these tangents, attacking people, putting them into these terrible groups, and you get justice, and justice is finally served to you, oh, the sweet savor of it. Oh, I'm going to savor it, Chuck. I'm going to savor it. And seriously, in all seriousness, for a second to calm down, I'm praying for you, Chuck, because I honestly think there's something wrong with you. I honestly think that, and I hope that you're able to find in your heart that thing that's wrong with you, and you're able to address it, and you're able to accept that into your heart, and that you're able to bring about a change, because I honestly think that you can change. I really do believe that you can change, but you gotta want it. You gotta desire it. So I'll pray for you, man, because I obviously think there's something wrong with you. And the fact that you just lost your job, you say, oh, I don't know what I did. I don't know. I was just not being civil. If you think you were fired for simply not being civil, if you think you were being fired just because you put out a mild-mannered tweet, you need to look back at the tweets that you put out, read them to yourself out loud, and think to yourself, is this something that I would ever want my boss to hear me saying? Because the answer is no. But anyway, guys, what are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about Chuck Wendig finally being gone? Again, I don't like to take joy in someone losing their job, but when someone like this, who has been so aggressive and has just been so negative and has attacked us, the Phantom Menace, over and over and over again, and then you have knuckleheads at the Mary Sue trying to say, oh, he was just defending himself from trolls, trying to justify the behavior when there is no evidence of this nonsense. It's just ridiculous. So I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts about this. And guys, I'm so sorry if I got way too political, because I really try. I try my best to avoid those topics on this channel, because this is not what it's about. But this one is something I really feel so passionate about, it because Chuck Wendig has really just hit a nerve with so many of us, because he has said just ridiculous things that aren't true. And it's finally now the point where it seems like there's some justice in the world for everything that he said, every attack that he's laid out. And it's great that the company's like, no, we don't want this representing our company anymore. And everything that I say about Ryan Johnson is an angel, is a saint compared to what Chuck Wendig has done. So if I'm calling for the firing of Ryan Johnson because of a terrible film, because of breaking Star Wars, because of, a few comments on Twitter, there's no way I can go by and not feel some sense of just, I don't know what. But all I can say is that I guess you can say it's a small victory, but we got to keep the eye on the prize, which is trying to create, once again, a good Star Wars story. I mean, that's what it really is all about. But not even just that, but also getting the politics out of it. Not just Star Wars, but anything. Anything. I mean, and you could say, oh, well, you say that, but then you're being political. It's like, I'm only saying that because I'm responding to the politics that's being thrown at me. And I honestly think this. I think we need to keep this political messaging out of movies. Unless you're making a documentary, unless you're making historical film, I don't think that any of that should be in there. That's just me personally. But guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Please let me know in the comments below. And again, this all talk of Comicsgate and blah, blah, blah. All art is political and blah, blah, blah. And apparently people being angry that politics and certain works or progressive matters more than artists. I mean, this person is just vote in November like your life depends on it, because it just might. And here again is the whole purpose of all this. These are people. Again, my last political comment. These are people who cannot get over the fact that Trump won in 2016. That's what this all comes down to. These are people that are still so depressed because they remember they felt so depressed when the election results came in, and they have not stopped. And they've made it their daily mission to keep reminding people about how upset and how down they are. Instead of actually trying to make a positive change, instead of actually trying to work with with the way things are and make things the best as possible. Instead, they would rather just sit back and say, I'm not going to block you. I'm just going to ignore you. You have a different opinion than me. Oh, well, then you must be racist. Grouping everyone together, because it's a lot easier for them to do that. It's a lot easier for you, anyone, to group someone together, to have it in that groupthink mindset of, oh, you're all the same. You're all the same. There is no diversity of thought, because there's no diversity of thought up here, because you're not even open to hearing something else. And I think that's sad. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Like this video, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. You're all amazing, guys. I'm going to be building my PC tomorrow. My game plan right now is eventually to go pick up, because my RAM, so now my RAM's not getting in until Tuesday. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try and swing by Best Buy to pick up some temporary RAM to use for the build, to get everything set up, to get all my processing working, etc. Just that way I have a working computer. And then when the RAM comes in, replace it, and then return it to Best Buy, because I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do that. But anyway, guys, join me for that tomorrow, sometime in the afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock Central Time, depending on what's going on. I will keep you posted on Twitter and also on my Discord. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and as always, God bless.